we're going to play some BX D&D, Old School's Essentials style. This is actually an adventure from, I have it here somewhere. I just received recently from Kickstarter the Trilemma Adventures volume. He's for a long time followed him on Patreon, and then last year, I believe, was when this Kickstarter came out, maybe a little bit into last year. I guess we're at the beginning of 2020 now, and got this beautiful printed book from it. And we're going to run through some of these adventures. They're mostly kind of one-shotty, two-page adventures, really kind of loose and fun. So in this particular adventure, our characters have heard of the rumors that about a 3-day ride to the north into the glacial drifts, a cathedral has been seen. It's near what's called the Steaming Valley. This is a Steaming Valley is called such because there's a hot spring that runs through it, and there's basically lush, fertile land on either side of this stream that runs, just basically comes up out of the ground in this valley and then goes back under the ground. Once it goes under the ground again, it's a lost my train of thought. So the valley, sorry about the coughing, coming off a cold. So the steam comes up, the hot spring, I should say, comes up out of the ground at the beginning of this valley, then travels for maybe a mile or so, then goes back down into the ground. And all alongside of this stream is kind of fertile land where there's grasses and plants and flowers and such. And of course, everything around it is covered in ice beyond that, because of the temperature changes. The valley is often filled with fog, especially on the cooler mornings and such, before the sun comes up to break the fogs. So thus the very creative name of the Steaming Valley. So you guys are at an encampment, like I say, about 3 days south of this. You've been moving forward with, these are semi-permanent encampments up here. You've maybe, how long it's taken you to get here, maybe a week or so, but you're breaking off from the rest of the kind of the civilized folk, if you will, to head up to investigate this area. There's rumors of riches and various other treasures available. From what you know, this temple, or Stellarium, it's a temple to the stars, was created by a group of race, essentially called the Vinteralf, which is, to your understanding, kind of an ancient, distant relative to elves of the like, but they live very, very far north to the extreme cold, and never came to what would be considered the normal temperatures where people like you might live. And as far as you know, as far as people have known, they haven't been heard from in 100 years. So whether or not they still exist, or this was a piece, an artifact from ancient times, it's hard to know. What is known is that this has been moving. The sages have every year seen this glacial drift that it's on moving south each year. And at this point that it's hit the Steaming Valley, it seems like the glacier is going to push through into the valley and possibly crush the remainder of the building that's there. So this may be the last opportunity to investigate it. So as brave adventurers, you've decided to do so, and I guess I will have you guys intro your characters now. As you're kind of mounting up, you've got horses, about a week's ration, tents, all that kind of stuff. You don't need to write that in your character sheet if you don't want to. The normal stuff to get up there. It's about a 3 days ride, so you took about a week's worth of gear to get there with horses and such. So before you leave the civilized area, let's have you guys intro your characters. I guess I'll start with Crystal.
Flashing back to a rainy night in town, you see this man sitting in a tavern back in the private lounge. He has a winch wrapped around his arm, wrapped around two winches, and and a he laughs, and he has a nice drink in front of him as the friar roars, and this man approaches him, and my character kind of leans forward and says, uh, visitor from the guild, I see. Yes. What can Ricardo Denarchi do for you?" And the man leans in and slides him a letter and says the gold's been sent to where you asked. Remember what we asked for. If you don't return it, you might as well not even come back. We'll have a letter out for your head. Yes, yes. Do not worry, my character says, as he reaches forward and grabs the confirmation of his payment and slides it into his inner pocket. Ricardo Donacci never fails. And that is my thief, Ricardo Donacci, who is now mounting up, getting ready to head out on this adventure.
Excellent. Okay, so yeah, as you're kind of mounting up, near you is your companion for the trip, venturing companion, I should say. Yang, go ahead and introduce your character.
You see before you a gentleman who is wearing a yellowish cloak. He's also wearing a blue surcoat over a plate mail. You see him wield a mace. His hair is slicked back, and he's wearing a mean grimace. Around his chin, you see a well-trimmed beard and goatee, and his eyes are ablaze with determination. He looks up and around the area and says, "Well, let's get on with this. Seems like we have long ways to go." I'm going to be playing Brother John Kirk. He's a cleric, and he has been tasked by his church to investigate and gain the knowledge from the stars from this frozen temple in order to prevent a certain doom that will come about in about 50 years.
Can I find the computer?
Yes, yes. Father, let us continue on our way. Now, how about you take point for us? That large armor you have on, uh, leading the way, perhaps would be best for you.
Brother John turns back and says, "What are you babbling about? Come on, follow me." He's already a few paces ahead of you.
Excellent. So you guys head out on the horses. It's a pretty, from your research, basically the, even relatively unskilled warriors with the help of maybe a couple of bowmen hunt in these areas. It's fairly safe, anyways, for at least a day or so's journey. So you're heading off through paths that are well trodden by hunters and stuff, and you're able to travel that first day without too much trouble. It is quite cold, but you have furs, and you brought a supply of wood with you, and like I said, a tent or whatever. And throughout that first day of journeying, as the wind blows, and though the days be short, you're able to travel kind of unhindered. You do occasionally pass small groups of hunters or people out collecting along the way. You actually pass at one point near the end of the day. You're passing this kind of small group of men. They've got the look about them of peasants. No armor, nothing substantial. They're carrying maybe spears, and you can tell that they're bringing behind them a mule, and this mule has kind of some sacks on its side, some saddlebags filled with who knows what, as they come from the north, and they seem pretty pleased with themselves as they kind of pass you. But essentially, that's the only kind of unusual, thing you see. Otherwise, you're looking at tundra, ice, snow, and the blazing sun setting as you kind of end the first day in the country. So there's two of you. Are you going to set up guard for the night? Are you just going to sleep? How do you want to handle your kind of downtime here?
Yes, perhaps it would be wise for us to set up a patrol during the night. And which shift would you like to take, Father? You're muted, Young, if you're speaking. Ah, you'll take the first watch. Okay, very well. I shall take the latter watch then. I'm very adept with my ears, being able to listen after all.
Yeah. So the cleric sits down and he keeps himself vigil while you rest.
Okay. So you guys split the night in two shifts, taking turns sleeping, and it passes, without incident really. While it is frigidly cold, there's no the skies are clear, which actually makes it colder at night. But there's no rain or snow or anything. It's very calm. Occasional wind. So any noise that you think you might have heard would be very easy to notice if anything was approaching you, and the night passes with no sound whatsoever from any kind of beasts of the night. When the morning comes, when you're putting out your fire and maybe having some food and packing up, you can see that it's going to be another like bright sunny day with no clouds as you kind of continue to move to the north.
Perhaps we will have a short winter this year.
So day two is kind of passes like day one. The most significant difference is that you are no longer on any kind of path that seems to be well trodden. You can definitely see that there is a way that people have marked. You see the occasional marking, stones stacked and so on. As I say, that this steam valley is not unheard of for people to travel to. So, but throughout the day you travel and you don't encounter a soul, you don't see, and you can see from miles out in front of you. You don't see a single traveler at all. It's almost strangely quiet with the weather. Almost no wind, and the temperature. It's cold. Like there's frost. You're breathing steam and this frost accumulating on your metal armor. And your horses need to be maybe brushed even more when you finally sit down for camp the night, because they're quite cold and shaken as you're kind of breaking icicles from their mane. But again, you make it through the second day without any kind of incident of contact with any kind of monsters or anything. And you're going to do the same setup for camping?
Yeah, I'll take the first watch.
Okay, let's see. All right, once again, very, very quiet. Almost strangely quiet. As I say, you maybe even occasionally jump when the fire, the wood in the fire pops strangely, because it's such a it feels like a booming sound compared to just the dead silence that's out there in the winter. There's just no life anywhere around you for miles and miles. But as the sun rises on day two and you're heading out again to even more kind of empty lands, the weather seems amazingly beautiful. And while cold, again, no harshness, no wind, no rain, no snow, as you travel through into the third day. At which time you can see, because it's so clear, ahead of you, the two mountains that form the valley that you know you're heading towards. You can see, you've been seeing them, but you can start to make them out more and more clearly as the day progresses. And about midway through your third day, because you're making such a good time, you find yourself standing at basically the lip of this valley, and you're kind of looking down into what looks like a steam bath. You can see like just bits of steam kind of floating over the edge of where the beautiful tall grasses, which just seems so out of place here, are growing next to this stream that's flowing through the center of this valley. And as the warm air kind of crosses over it into the icy tundra that's along the side, it's just forming this like low level of steam, but it's not completely foggy, because now it's kind of the end of the day. And you can look in, actually, let me do the map here. At the end of the valley, you see essentially, this isn't the exact angle you have because it's far away from you, but you can see that this cliff wall here, which is, of course you can't see my mouse, but you can see there's a cliff wall with where the river runs basically to the base of it. This kind of like a high cliff wall that's about 100 or so, just to give you some size ratio. That wall down there with the hole in it is about 120 feet ish tall. On either side of the valley are steep kind of cliffs. You can see, because your height, you can see this temple or Stellarium is on top of it, right? And you can see it's a bit in ruins. So if it's not clear on this map, I'll just kind of, and you got to get closer, obviously, before you can really investigate it. But essentially, you have this stream running through the center of the valley. On either side of it, again, there's grasses and there's flowers and growth like you might see in the spring. That goes out about 15 to 20 feet on either side of it, maybe a little bit more, I guess, maybe 30 feet. And then it kind of starts to shift slowly into what is the frozen tundra. And then again, there's this kind of like cliff wall at the end. You could probably get down, if you just, from where you are, you can just take the horses down into the valley. Like it's pretty smooth. It'll probably take you, it's only a couple miles, it'll probably take you like 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get to basically exactly where you'd be seeing what you're seeing in this map. So, but currently you're standing outside the valley.
Cool. Yeah, so we ride our horse down there.
I'm sorry, I was coughing. I didn't hear you.
So we take our horse and travel down there.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
The valley.
All right. Yeah, you start to you move down into the valley, and so it may not be super clear. I mean, I don't know how clear it is for you guys to be able to see it on the web. So as you come down, you can actually see where the stream flows. This is obviously not on the map, but you're on the other side of it. That you can actually see where the stream kind of flows into this hill that you're going down. So you're going down this like kind of at the top of the hill. Anyways, it's kind of like this frozen ground. And then as you're kind of starting to walk down, there's less and less ice on it because clearly the stream has gone underneath it. So the ground itself is a bit warmer. So it's not growing any grasses and stuff like in the valley, but as you kind of plunge down into the valley part of it, if you're like alongside the stream, you've been kind of cold with the furs wrapped around you this whole time. But when you're close to that stream and kind of if you want to walk like the horses through the grasses that are right next to it, like you'll actually be perspiring. It's that much warmer close to it, and you would imagine that if you were to stick your hand like in the water, it would probably scorch you. Like that's how warm this water is as you're kind of moving forward. So yeah, so there's basically, as noted, grasses. You do, as you're on horses, so you're easily, as you're kind of moving through it, you see things kind of squirming away from you. You see some rabbits or whatever, or the occasional snake or something shoot off, or small animals that are kind of living in these grasses are fearful as you kind of trod down through with your horses and move up closer to this sheer cliff wall. And we'll put you like at the edge of this map. So we'll say maybe like 200 or so feet away, and you can then choose what you want to do from there. You can see in the side of the cliff, there's basically a cave opening about halfway up. It's about 60 or so feet up. And of course, you can't see it now because you're at the bottom, but you know from having seen it at the edge of the valley, you know that the temple is at the top of the cliff. So, what do you want to do?
Well, Ricario, what do you think we should do?
Ricario is currently taking off some of the nice fur jackets that he has, and he's neatly putting them away and putting them into the saddlebags of his horse as he's feeling a bit warm now, and he kind of looks up at this wall and sort of uh, pulls at his mustache a little bit, or his goatee, kind of like pulling at it, kind of like thinking. And I'm seeing like a hole in the wall. Is that just like where the stream is coming out?
That's the cave, right? Cave opening?
Well, I see the cave at the top, but down near the stream, it looks like maybe there's a crevice or something.
Yeah, like right by where the stream comes out of the wall, there's kind of a crevice. It's not so much so that you could. It's pretty much right where the stream is, so you could get down and like kind of peek in there if you want. I mean, you'll be taking a steam math to do that, but to go through like where the stream is, you'd have to get into the water. Like it's not so big that you can get in without getting into the water. Above it, on the face of the glacier, the glacier is a larger cave that the water's not coming out of. So the water's coming out at ground level. And then about halfway up, there's a cave. So there's no waterfall or anything, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. Cleric holds up his hand.
I was just looking at the little glacier there. I was wondering if you can squeeze through.
I mean, you could. You'd have to go into the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cleric holds up his hand and says, well, you see all that steam coming out of the water. It seems like it's scalding. I wouldn't recommend wading in there.
Yes. You're right, brother. Could be dangerous. As is our line of work. Well, I have on my persons grappling hook and some rope. I'm sure it shouldn't be that difficult for one such as myself to get up there.
Just as what I was expecting from a professional. Well done. All right, I'll leave the climbing up to you, and I'll follow your lead in this treacherous climb.
Yes. I'll be with you momentarily, and Ricardo is gonna he's just gonna leave like his backpack full of stuff like down at the bottom for the moment. He's gonna take out just a few items he thinks he'll need. So he's gonna grab out the grappling hook with the rope, and he's also gonna take up with him. He has a block and tackle. He wants to take that up with him.
Okay.
I guess I'll just carry my whole backpack up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say block and tackle is pretty heavy. I mean, you could leave some stuff in the saddlebags if you don't want to carry some of the heavier stuff, but you're probably gonna need to carry the block and tackle in a bag.
Well, Ricario, if you want to leave your stuff here all guarded while you climb up, and when you're done, I can just tie the rope to it so that you can pull it up later.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm just gonna leave my backpack down, or I have a large sack as well, so I can use the large sack to carry the block and tackle in.
Okay. Yeah.
I was also thinking I could use the block and tackle to help the cleric up later, but so I'm just gonna climb up. Do I need to climb sheer surface or?
No, I mean, for a thief, this is not going to be difficult. You think that even the cleric in the armor would be able to get up with the help of a rope. But especially after you kind of climb up and kind of see the best path, if you will. So by just going up and kind of clearing the path, I'll just say that it'll work out pretty well for Young's character to be able to get up if you have rope on there as well.
Okay.
So you're able to climb up. I mean, it's about 60 foot up, or we'll say, you can get to the top, and when you get up there, you're looking down into this what is essentially a tunnel. kind of damp around the edges because steam comes up and has been accumulating inside of it. The difference in temperature inside the tunnel, besides from being in the valley, is pretty extreme. It's not like as cold in the tunnel as being under the open tundra, but it's definitely like a 15-20 degree drop in temperature as soon as you step into it. And so because of that, the walls are kind of coated with this water basically that has accumulated because of the steam comes up and it hits the cold surface. So it looks pretty precarious. It looks the walls and the floor are kind of this gray, kind of wet, slimy looking surface. But you could probably easily find a place to put a grappling hook if you want. And as you're looking down the tunnel, you see that it goes, there's some daylight going into there. So I'll say you could probably see 30, 40, 50 feet into it. It looks like it goes even further than that. So it looks like a pretty deep hallway, for lack of a better term. Because it's definitely something that's been cut by, man or beast. It's not a natural cavern.
Okay, so I get up there and I have like iron spikes and stuff too, so I assume I would have taken that with me, and I'm gonna secure the block and tackle like into the wall or whatever, like next to me, using the spikes and everything, and I'm gonna hook it up to where it can pull, and I'll toss the rope out down to the cleric, and I'll say, "Careful on your way up. It's the ice is melting and making it quite slippery." And
Oh boy, you're telling me. He pulls himself up with a grunt, and he finally makes it up to the opening of that cave and enters it.
and Ricario will put his backpack back on now and says, I'll leave the block and tackle here for now, but I'm gonna leave the rope pulled up so that if anyone else came behind us, they wouldn't be able to climb the rope up.
Okay. I mean, I'm assuming you tied your horses up at the bottom so that they don't want, or you're letting them feed down there or whatever. I suppose there's grasses and stuff.
Yeah.
You won't be able to.
If I needed to, if there wasn't a place where we could tie them up, I would have used an iron spike.
Yeah, there's rocks and stuff down there. I mean, you can put a long lead on them so they can eat and stuff. So the horses, you unsaddle them so they're comfortable or whatever. And they're not going to want to drink the water. It's too hot, but there's like plants and stuff for them to eat. So you do that. I mean, you won't be able to pull the horses up clearly. You probably wouldn't bring the horse inside a dungeon anyways. But yeah, so you do that. You get your block and tackle there. You kind of get your backpack on, and as I say, you're looking down. With kind of squinting eyes and looking down with a bit of daylight that's kind of filtering in. You can, like I say, you can see into this place, but you do know that it goes into the darkness. And like I said, it's a flat ground. So it's definitely been carved by intelligent creatures. It's kind of a hallway. It's not square. It's kind of a domed-ish shape. About 10 foot wide. It looks again like kind of this like slimy, wet, gray stone stretching out in front of you until basically you can't see anymore. So you're going to definitely be going into the darkness if you proceed. Yeah.
Ricario will pull a torch and light it up.
Yeah, seeing that, Brother John nods and says, "All right, I'll just hold up the front here." And he brings up his shield and unsheaths his mace. He's holding it up and moving forward.
Generally I take the lead in these kinds of situations, brother. If someone attacks us, feel free to back me up.
You're volunteering to go in the front line?
Yes, I am.
All right, Ricario.
Why would this surprise you?
All right, you carry the torch, then I'll hold up the rear.
Ricario will carry the torch in one hand, and he has a 10-foot wooden pole. You don't want to know where he pulls it from. And he's going to use that. He's going to be kind of like tapping the floors ahead of him as he moves.
Okay, cool. All right. Oh, all right. Perfect. Okay, so you kind of you got your torch and you start to like tap the floor in front of you with the pole. You notice almost immediately. As you take like 2 or 3 steps forward, when you stick the pole, against the ground, tapping it, and you lift it up, that there's kind of a sludge hanging off of it, and then it immediately kind of falls to the ground as it disintegrates the end of the pole with the acid effect. Yeah. So basically, there's acidy sludge on the ground, and when that happens, go ahead and roll initiative.
Yay.
Well, it didn't surprise you because you had that pole. Because I was about to have it surprise you.
Nice. 2.
All right, everybody. So
Are we doing individual initiative
no.
or
Side initiative? So D6, straight D6. Crystal, you might as well roll because you're encountering it first.
I rolled a 6.
Okay, you go first. So you basically, your pole hits the ground, you lift it up, there's a sludge, and you're probably like you're gonna shake it off, but before you can do it, basically like 6 inches of the pole gets disintegrated, and then the sludge plops on the ground, and you see it kind of start to raise up a little bit off the ground with what will probably be a bubbling pseudopod, but you get to go first.
Yeah. If you don't mind me playing it out a little bit, like Ricario, he's like tapping the ground with that thing, and he has his torch up, and he hits the ground, and as he pulls it up, he sees that boiling. This look comes across his face. At first, it's kind of confusion, and then he kind of like opens his eyes with a panic as he drops the pole and says, "Get your mace!" And he reaches down to pull his sword at the same time as this thing plops on the ground. Being a level 4 adventurer, he's seen things like this before. So the first thing Ricario thinks to do, he's pulling his sword in like kind of like a panic, but in his head he thinks fire, and so he instantly just tries to like throw the torch at this thing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's basically covering most of the floor. I don't think you can really miss. You can make an attack roll if you want, but
I thought it was like, okay, so it's not like a blob.
Well, it's starting to form up into it, but it was the reason why, as I was describing it, the floor looked like it was wet and covered with water because it was flattened out. So it's starting to come up into a shape.
Okay,
I mean, it'll be hard to miss it, but go ahead and make it.
As it's coming up into the shape, that's what Ricario wants to do, is try and hit it with this torch.
Yeah. It's
yeah, but with that, I'm sure I'm gonna miss. I rolled a 6.
Oh, really? Okay, that was actually gonna miss. Okay. All right, so you throw it, and as this thing kind of forming up, and it lands next to it and splats on the ground, and let's say we'll give it 2 and 6 chance that it goes out, and the torch goes out. I mean, there's still enough light in here that you can see it. You're pretty much still in the entrance. You barely walked in, like you literally just started. You're probably like 10 feet in, so there's enough light to see this thing. And go ahead, Brother John.
Brother John, he grabs his sling and swings a bullet at it.
All right, so you're gonna pull out your sling, and okay. I mean, if you had a mace and a shield out, so if you're gonna take a sling out and throw a bullet this round, it's gonna be -2 for your 2 hit.
Sure,
that's a lot to do in one round.
No problem.
Yeah.
He actually drops the mace on the ground, and then
you'll do it.
And I roll 7 plus 2. I roll 9.
Okay, its armor class is 8, so I don't know what do you have your. You don't have your 2 hits.
Okay, is it D6? D6 -1.
What armor class did that hit?
9.
Okay, perfect. 9. That hits then. Okay. Yep. D6 for a sling, D4.
D4. 4 points.
Hey, good slingshot. Let's see. Okay, nice. This thing's starting to bubble up. The sling hits it and pops one of the big bubbles. It kind of deflates a little bit, but then it reaches forward to the closest thing, which would be our thief, Ricardo, and it's going to make an attack roll, and it rolls an 18, which I don't even have to look. That's definitely going to hit you. 18 hits, armor class -1. All right, so this thing slams into you. And it sticks to the side of your, to your chest, basically, eating directly through your armor. It's stuck on you. It doesn't do damage this turn, but you have a feeling that since your armor is getting destroyed, that it's going to do damage next round. So it is now next round. Initiative, Crystal roll. It rolled a 2.
I rolled a sixes again.
All right. So you get to go. This thing's kind of like, well, a big pseudopod of it is like on the front of you, and you can just like you can see your armor just melting underneath it as it kind of is attached to you.
Would I be able to quickly take off my armor?
Well, you're not gonna have to.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
okay. I have my sword. Could I like quickly cut my strap off to like of my armor to like keep it from actually hitting me?
Yeah, I'll let you give it a shot. It's gonna be very difficult though, because it's literally eating through your armor. Because it actually says immediately, so it should have done damage first round, but I was being nice. So what I'll say is, it's going to be a dex roll, d20 roll under your dex, but with a +4 to the roll. So it'd be a difficult roll.
+4 to the roll. Okay. And I rolled a 4, so that's a total of 8 under 13.
Yeah. So you quickly cut your armor, and it falls to the ground with this thing dissolving it, and you see it literally before the thing actually hits the ground. The armor's already gone, like it literally, and you're standing there bare chested, or even like the clothing you had underneath was starting to already get torn and melted. But you will suffer no damage though. And now it is Father John.
Also, I'd like to back up if I can, like cut it and like just backing up from it.
Well, there's not much for you to go. You're only about 10 feet in, unless you want to jump out.
Oh, right. Okay.
You can get right to the edge if you want.
Yeah, he
No,
throws,
I'll wait till next turn.
he hurls another bullet at it. And with roll of 17, I'm pretty sure that it hits it.
Yep.
Armor class 2. So he does 3 points of damage on that creature.
Nice. All right, you hit this thing again, and it kind of like it coils back a little bit. You can see that it's formed now into a blob that's probably like the size of like a halfling. You know, I mean, it's not the size of a halfling, but it's not huge now that it's kind of pulled up into itself. And when you hit it with the stone, like it actually droops a little bit, and some of it's kind of like dripping to the ground, extra wet, like it's starting to be dissolved. And it's going to lash forward again at Ricardo. 17 on the die is going to hit you. And this time, though, you don't have any armor, so it's going to do damage. 2. Ooh, 10 points of damage. That can't be good.
And Ricardo's dead.
Seriously? Great. Well, I'm using
I
my
have 7 hit points.
7? Okay, all right. I'm really, wow, that's low. I'm going to do my, we're using my injuries versus death chart thing. I forgot to tell you guys. So let me just pull that out. Well, this comes out quick. All right, so this is going to be versus, I don't think I've used this one before. This is versus acid. Fire and acid. Let's see. So you'll take no damage, so still have 7 hit points, but you're going to roll a d6 plus the amount you would have been negative. So you would have been negative 3. So d6 plus 3.
3.
3. Oh, well, okay, so 6. Oh my god. All right, everything that so this thing comes across you like a wave, but somehow doesn't stick to you, and literally like you are standing there naked with just what you have in your hand, which I guess is a sword technically. And you're also knocked backwards.
Okay.
Also, you won't fall out or anything, so you're literally naked with a sword right now. But not dead. Now, next round. Roll initiative, Crystal. Roll the 2 again.
3.
Okay, you still go again. What you want to do?
Ricario's gonna grab that rope and jump out of the hole.
But it's not tied to anything. It's on a block and tackle.
All right.
I mean, and it's 60 feet, so you're probably going to die because if you only have no points.
No, okay.
I mean, I'm just.
Yeah. No, okay.
I mean, you could try to climb down, but using your normal movement.
Brother John
Yeah.
says, "Get back! I'll fight it. Stay behind me, and if I live through this, then I'll."
I mean, like, I can't go anywhere. I can't go back.
Well, you can
Like,
climb. You can use your thief skill to climb. You can go outside and like climb against the wall.
okay, all right, yeah, he'll do that then.
Yeah, because you could do a fighting retreat and move. Because now you're naked, so you basically your movement is 120, so it's 30. So you can move, or you can move 15 feet. So you can actually go outside onto the wall. I'm gonna say just because you're rushing, you'll have to roll a climb.
Okay, makes sense.
I mean, because you're literally jumping outside and grabbing onto the edge of the wall.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool. I rolled an 11. So
Yeah, you can however you want to narrate that. So maybe you do jump out and grab the rope, and then you're like, "Oh shit, it's not tied."
yeah, like I grabbed the rope and like I'm about to go down, and then it's like I'm like, oh crap, at the last moment, and like managed to like catch the ledge.
Yeah, and then you kind of scurry off to the side. Go ahead, Father John.
Brother John drops that sling and picks up the mace on the ground and charges at it and swings.
Okay.
Where did it go? Oh, and he misses.
Okay.
Roll of 5.
Yeah, that's probably not going to hit. Okay, it's going to now. It since you're its only target, it's going to now try to attack you. With a 4, misses for sure. Let me just check, but I can't imagine a 4 hits you. 4 hits, nothing. Yep, misses. Okay, next round. You haven't lost initiative yet, Crystal, so you can roll. 4 for the creature.
Okay.
Okay, go first. You're outside on the ledge.
8.65.
I thought it had a 4. I lost 2.
Oh, you said 6. No, okay. All right, so it's gonna once again try to pseudopod into the cleric. This time with an 8. An 8 hits armor class 9. So that still misses you because you're wearing plate armor, right?
Yeah. His AC is 3 with the shield.
Almost okay. Yeah, so AC. That. And your AC, what's your AC now, Crystal? Getting naked.
8.
You have a negative dex?
No, 8.
Yeah, well, 9 is the lowest.
Yeah, I have a +1 to dex.
So yeah, oh 8. Okay, yes, I'm sorry. My brain is not sorry. Okay. 8. Perfect. Okay, so your AC 8. And it missed. So it is now the next round. Right? No, you haven't gone yet, Crystal.
I haven't attacked either. Yep.
Sorry, this round completely confused me. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're engaged in combat. Go ahead, Father John. Attack.
Brother John, he swings and hits the armor class 10.
That does not hit. Its AC is 8. Go ahead, Ricardo. You're hanging on the wall outside.
I mean, I'm not sure Ricardo can do much. So,
well, right now you're about 5 feet away. I mean, in theory, the thing could get to you still if it gets past the cart. So if you want to move further away, you can.
yeah, he'll climb down some more. Go for some spare clothes.
At the horse. Okay. All right, yeah. You can climb down. All right, so you're starting to climb down. Okay, now, Father, you went, right? And you missed. So now we're in the next round. So you might as well just roll initiative anyways, Young, what you would have to do anyways, because
I got 3 this time.
Okay, 1 for the creature. So you go first.
And that hits armor class 4.
That hits.
Okay, and for mace, I believe it's 1d6 plus 1. And actually 4, and his strength bonus of 1 gives him 5.
5 points. That's actually enough. Nice. That was exactly enough. That strength bonus saved you. So you smack this thing with the mace, and it basically, you hear like a splat. And it almost like you've been hitting this thing, although you haven't felt it because you hit it with sting stones, and it's been like hitting like jello, like things are kind of like boing, bouncing on it. When you hit it with the mace, it's like the thing turns to liquid instantly, and just like water just essentially splashes everywhere, and you even see it run off like under your feet and like up the side of the thing. And a few seconds go by, and you can tell that the creature has been felled. Probably the Vicario, you see some liquid pour out of the bottom as you're kind of crawling down to get the rest of your clothes.
Brother John grunts and says, "Ricario, it's dead. I think you can come back now."
Good job, brother. Let me get some clothes here. I'm sure you don't want me
Here, put this
going in the
on.
cave naked.
Here, put this on, and he unclasps his yellow cape and hands it over to him. I'm sure you could probably drape it around your body to make you seem
sure.
a little bit more modest, don't you think?
I'm sure we have backup clothes. I mean, we did pack to travel for a few days.
Yeah, I mean, you probably.
Right?
I'll say that you probably have. I mean, I don't know that medieval people carried like lots of suits of clothes, but we'll say you probably have some regular clothes because if you were wearing armor, you probably have clothes. Yeah, because you wouldn't want to, especially leather armor you might wear all the time, but yeah, I would say you have clothes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he'll put on his lesser decent clothes, his more common clothes.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe he has a backup sheath with those.
I don't know about that. Why would you carry a backup?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, fine. Then he'll put his sword in his mouth in order to climb back up the cave.
Yeah, or your belt or something. I'm sure you can.
Oh wait, I could just be like, hey, I'm gonna tie this to the do the rope and pull my sword up using the block and tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can find a way to bring the sword up. I don't think that's a problem.
All right.
It won't be as beautifully sheathed, but I'm sure you can just shove it in your belt or something, or carry it in your hand for temporarily. And you do have one torch that didn't get destroyed because it landed on the ground and went out, but everything else, the backpack and all that other stuff is gone.
Yeah. So Ricario will say, "All right, well, let's continue." And he has his sword, and he'll just kind of put it over his shoulder for now. He's just carrying it over his shoulder.
Yeah.
John says, "Ricario, I gotta thank you. If I were to have taken the lead back there, I'll probably be in a puddle of that acid."
Yeah, of course. Yes. Well,
This might be the quickest nudity.
you're gonna pay me at the pub.
We may have achieved the quickest declothing of all the games I've done so far. So go ahead, new record achieved. Good. All right. Well, with nothing else to lose, you I guess light up your torch again and start moving down into this corridor. Once you pass that first 20-foot area, you see that it's no longer wet and slimy on the ground. Probably at least part of that was the creature itself, blending in. And as you kind of move past and you're heading down, with the light of the torch going on in front of you about 30 feet or so, you only have to travel about 40 or so feet. And you see that at the edge of the torchlight, it looks like it opens up into some kind of a chamber in front of you. There's no doors or anything. You can just see that it opens up into a chamber.
Brother sticks to the wall and then puts his back against the wall and inches towards that opening.
Okay, yeah. So you move forward. I mean, it's 10 foot wide. You can be next to each other, I guess, if you're not creeping ahead anymore, or you can be behind them. I don't know how you want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll kind of be beside each other.
I mean, since you have the torch, you're going to need to see. So you move forward to the edge of the room, to the edge of the entranceway. Maybe you get on the side of the wall or whatever if you want to be careful. And you're looking into a chamber that's probably about. It's got 12-foot tall ceilings. It's just this kind of plain but definitely carved stone. It is about 40 by 40. In the center of the room, there's a spiral staircase going up through the ceiling. The stairs themselves look to be made out of some kind of metal. Continuing, we'll just kind of continue, since direction just makes it easier to describe it. We'll assume you came in through the south. So continuing north, there's another passageway like you came from. And there's also one off to the east. This room itself is fairly plain looking. It's let me just see if there's anything else interesting in here to tell you guys about. It's more or less just a simple kind of stone cut room. It looks like there's been a lot of throughout the years, been a lot of foot traffic through this area, probably heading up and down the those stairs, which are metal and not showing signs of being worn, but the floor itself has definitely got tread from feet, booted feet or whatever. Other than that, it looks like actually, even though it's very old, all you really notice is like some cracks in the wall because clearly this thing's moving through a glacier. But otherwise, it's surprisingly kind of perfect. Is the best way I can describe it. So, what you want to do? So essentially stairs going up, passageway to the north, passageway to the east. Of course, back would be to the south. Nothing else apparently in this room that's really standing out. In fact, the fact that there's nothing standing out is actually what really stands out. Like it's just very, very plain.
Okay. Ricario will head on over and look down the passageway to the east.
Okay. Yeah, so you walk over with the torch. You can see that it looks like it runs about 20 or 30 feet, and then it looks like it might open up into a passageway. You do see some rubble and stone on the ground, kind of near the end of your torchlight.
Can he see up the stairs at all?
No, because I mean they go into the ceiling, so you'd have to go up them to be able to really see much.
Okay. Well, brother, it looks like there may be some rubble down there at the end of the passage. What do you say we search this first floor thoroughly before we head on up? Ah, yes, I think it sounds like a good idea as well. Well, let us continue then.
Was Young disappear again?
I guess so. He isn't answered.
Young? Oh, okay.
All right, so we're gonna head down the east passage.
East passage? Okay, that's fine. Okay, yeah, so you start heading towards the east. And as I said, it looks like there was you're kind of like looking clearly because you see some stone on the floor after you go about 20 feet or so. You do see rocks and stone and stuff on the floor, but as you're kind of looking at it, looking at around you, this hallway doesn't look like it's got any damage. So it looks like whatever's on the ground probably kind of fell in through the other, collapse that happened in the other room. And sure enough, as you kind of get to the edge and you can see into this room, you see this kind of like a ceiling collapse, which would be to the south, basically to your right. It looks like some of that rubble kind of rolled into this room, if you will, as it came in. To the north, which is the room basically is about 20 foot east-west, and then it's a long room north to south. To the north, it's a pretty, again, very, very simple room. What really is the strangest thing about this room, though, is that about 20 or so feet up to your left, there are some bodies on the floor. There are 8 bodies on the floor. They seem to be, without getting too close, I'm assuming you're speaking in there. They seem to be about like human size-ish. They look like they're armored, and they are laying kind of almost in a perfect circle, like with their heads in the center and their feet sticking out, almost like they would do a selfie. Like kids might do a selfie, like teenagers might do a selfie, but of course, probably not in medieval times.
Mm-hmm.
So they're creating almost like a round circle shape because they're like that. If you want to move forward. So beyond that, just to give you a quick overview what's in the room. So right in front of you, rubble. If you were to scramble around the rubble, so almost straight ahead of you, but you'll have to go into the room like deeper to get around it because the rubble's collapsed. There's a passageway to the east. To the basically to the north, so to your left, there's this pile of bodies or circle of bodies, for lack of a better word. Just beyond them, also on the east wall, is another entryway or passageway. And also beyond the bodies to the north, like further up, is another passageway to the north. But it's too dark to really see up there.
Okay. All right.
So lots of passageways coming out of this room. It's a pretty large hall.
Okay. All right. So, Young, are you back?
Oh, hold on. He wrote in the chat. Be right back. He's got an emergency.
Oh, okay.
At 8:33. I'm just seeing it now. That was 4 minutes ago. Do you want to wait a minute? I'll get a drink actually, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
It's just yeah. I'll be right back. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, so Young's back. Did you catch the description of the room, Young, or no?
No, I only know that it's a large room.
All right, so let me just go through it again quickly. So you're coming in from the west, basically. You're heading east. So to your right, which would be south, it's collapsed. The room is. To the left, basically about halfway up the room, you see these 8 bodies kind of laying in a circle. So essentially, their heads are kind of all in the center of the circle with their feet sticking out. So they're creating like this circle in the middle of the ground. Just beyond them, on the east wall of that room, there's a passageway. Also, on the other side of the rubble, there's a passageway to the east. So there's 2 basically passageways on the east wall. And then also there's a passageway on the northern wall. But the northern passage, and frankly, both of these eastern passages, you're just barely seeing in your torchlight. So you can't really see what's beyond there. These bodies look about humanoid. They seem to be in armor, but you can't make out more without getting closer to them.
Oh, brother, this seems to be your area of expertise.
Yes, I have a feeling that if we approach them, then they might just get up and start to try and eat us. You know how
They
these things
may.
are.
However, they may also have a satchel on them. So you're not one of them that get upset about taking from the dead. I mean, obviously they don't need a satchel anymore, or a sheath. I mean, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I could only tell you one thing, and it seems like the way that these bodies are arranged, it looks like they're a part of some sort of a ritual, an unholy ritual. That's what I would suggest. So if you feel quite daring, then I would, I can't stop you from searching their bodies, but I have a feeling that if we were to approach them, then we may have to battle them.
Well, I mean, certainly someone of your caliber and with the god that you serve, you'd be able to turn such monstrosities, right? So,
The power of the gods, it's not to be abused.
of course not, of course not, of course not. I'm only suggesting that if evil were to rise, someone of your priestly might would certainly be able to lay them to rest permanently, which is what they deserve after all, right?
Well, let us hope I am capable enough to do so. But do you have any weapons just in case?
The sword, and so
Here.
yeah,
Here, how about using this? He takes out his a sling and hands it over to him with a bag of bullets. There are 10 bullets in there. Well, I don't want you to take a lot of risk wearing just that, you know?
Okay. Well, do you want to? Well, no, you use the sling for now because I'm gonna have to move up there. I mean, all I have
Right.
is this sword and this torch. So, yeah, I'm gonna Ricario is gonna begin to move up there with the torch out and his sword at the ready, and he's gonna start searching over the bodies. One of the
Sure.
biggest things he's looking for is a sheath he could, like a belt,
Yeah, sure. All right, so you start to approach these things, and as you get within about 10 feet of them or so, it's pretty clear that while they are kind of humanoid, they're a good 6.5 feet tall, so they're kind of tall. They're very, very heavy set, like fat and blubbery, and their faces are almost flat, and they've got kind of almost almost completely flat noses and big mouths with very heavy lips. So while they're human-ish looking, they're very exaggerated. They're all ball-headed. They're wearing some kind of armor that looks to be like some kind of plate armor, but it's clearly not made of any kind of metal you've ever seen before. They've got various weapons, so they're kind of laying in this circle, right, with their heads in the center, and they've got like their arms out to either side, like wrapped like arm in arm around each other. And on each one, kind of laying on kind of on their chest area, is a weapon. And one of them, one's got like a pole arm. There's one with a battle axe. There's one with the like a war hammer. And as you're kind of looking around, there is one who has a scabbard. It's a beautiful leather scabbard, studded with blue jades. So it's a beautiful gem scabbard for a sword, but there's no sword in it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, does one of them have like a two-handed sword?
Roll a d6.
And like hopefully a scabbard with that as well. I don't know. A 5.
No,
Okay.
no two-handed sword. No, you have
Hmm.
a two-handed sword. We have a regular sword.
I have a regular sword.
Yeah, the scabbard that's here is for a regular sword, but no, there's no two-handed sword. There's um, I'll give you the weapons. There's a battle axe. There is a two spears, a pole arm, like a battle axe, two spears, a pole arm, two war hammers, and the sword. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah. So no two-handed sword.
Yeah, beautiful jeweled scabbard. One of those, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is situations. Uh,
And I guess I'll also point out that you can see on like their bodies and stuff, like their skin and stuff is almost kind of a good grayish. And on their armor, you can see there's like a layer of frost has built up, so they look quite frozen.
hmm,
Yeah.
okay. He's gonna just like kind of crudely stick his sword like down his belt for now. Just hopefully be able to, retrieve it if he needs to. He's actually gonna reach out and try and take that pole arm.
Okay, yeah. I mean, because the way that their arms are intertwined, they're not holding the weapons; they're just kind of sitting on them. So yeah, you reach down, you pick up the pole arm, and you hear like a little bit of like a crunchy sound, kind of as you lift it off, because there was like some frost formed between the pole arm and the armor where it was sitting on there. But yeah, you're able to pick it up, no problem. You probably like wince a little bit because it goes like, but otherwise, yeah, it seems to be really well made, very light. Not of any kind of build like you've ever seen before, but it's clearly a pole arm, but not like any one that you've seen. Like it looks a little bit different, like as far as like the way the head of it is, or the metals that are used in it, kind of stuff.
Nice. Okay.
1 second, my tea's boiling. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So yeah, you have a pole arm.
Okay. So yeah, he's gonna back up with that pole arm. He's gonna say, "There, that'll do."
Okay.
And I guess I'll just keep his sword kind of tied up in his belt, and he's gonna shoulder that pole arm.
Nice. Okay. Yes, you have a pole arm. You don't take anything else?
Uh oh man, don't tempt a thief. Um, he really likes the way that scabbard looks. Hmm. No, you know what? No, not now. They can take it on the way out, hopefully. Let's see, like, because this could trigger combat. I mean, he's probably dealt with undead things being level 4.
Mhm.
He says, let's explore the rest of this temple. If there's nothing too dangerous, maybe we'll come back for it. Maybe it'll be worth fighting for.
Well, John, seeing that none of these things have gotten up and try to eat him, he actually gets pretty curious. He moves up close to these bodies and starts circling around the thing to, have a better look.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as described, they're basically they seem to be some kind of warriors. A very strange race. Like I said, bald. Um, they've got kind of these like really heavy set, like kind of very the best way to describe is kind of like fat faces with kind of squinty little eyes. Look at their eyes are closed. Kind of big fat like bulbous lips and like kind of double chins and they're quite bulky and they're wearing this like really kind of ornate armor that's not made out of it's like plate armor, but it's not made out of any like metal you've ever seen before. It's kind of a strange material, and it's actually very very like well made and form fitted to them. So it's not like they're wearing these like chunky plates just strapped to them. Like it's really like almost like a suit of armor that would require, that anybody any suit of armor that you've ever seen like this has been worn by like a princely type person. Like it's expensive armor that would require to be fit to the exact person that it was made for. And as noted, they've got these weapons. Well, now one doesn't have a polearm, and this one, the one that is the bearer of the sword, doesn't actually have a sword. He just has the scabbard for it.
Okay. Um,
Gray skinned. They're kind of.
do they look dead? I mean, are they? Does it look like they're in some sort of stasis or?
I mean, it's hard to say. They look frozen. They're not breathing as far as you can tell. I mean, if you stare at them,
Okay.
you do want to touch them.
Yeah, I mean, actually, he's so tempted. Yeah, John actually gets close to one and nudges it with the end of his mace.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you poke it. It kind of moves. I mean, it is what you'll realize is that it's not frozen solid because like he doesn't crack when you hit it with the mace. It just kind of like you can kind of like move it. You've probably seen frozen, animals that have died and have been frozen in the wilderness or whatever. They don't really rot away if it's cold enough. So it seems fairly pliable. I mean, you would guess that if they are dead, they haven't been dead that long because they're certainly not rotted or dried out.
You said there are 8 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Towards their heads, I mean, are they facing any object or is it just,
They're
complete
facing
empty
straight
space?
up. They're looking straight up at the ceiling.
Okay. Well,
They have their heads together. If you can imagine, like a bunch of people like laying with their heads together to like take a selfie.
yeah, cool. So John looks up to see what they're staring at.
Oh, okay. So you kind of get as close as you can, I guess, to be able to do that, and look up at the ceiling, and it's just a blank ceiling. It looks just like a gray, plain ceiling. But what you do definitely notice, though, is there's lots of cracks in the ceiling. And then as you kind of follow your eye down, you can see that you can see where the collapse is. Like it looks like it basically it might at some point collapse here. Like it looks like it's getting weakened through time, and the collapse will probably eventually come down and collapse this room as well. You don't know how long. You're not a dwarf or anything, but
Interesting.
yeah. But there's nothing like written on the ceiling or anything.
Yeah. He looks at Ricario and says, "Well, it doesn't seem like there's anything extraordinary here, and I don't think these guys are undead."
Hmm. Hey, Ricario is going to take his sword, and since he took that pole arm, he's going to slide the sword into that sheath and leave the sword there. Basically trading a weapon.
Oh. All right. Yeah, I mean, you're a thief. You can do that. I mean, you got to get in a weird, precarious position to do it because it's laying on his chest. But if you don't want to pick it, you're gonna have to like get near their heads to do that. But that's fine. You can do it.
Nah,
I'd
he's
say a
just
thief
gonna slide the sword down there. Like, thanks for the pole arm.
Nice. Yeah, you definitely can do that. Cool. Yeah, you slide it in. It fits. You know, it's like a normal sword, as a BX only has short swords, normal swords, and two-handed swords.
All right, well, let's continue. The south is collapsed, so Ricario is going to head towards the. You said we could continue east.
Yeah, so there's two corridors on the east wall. One at the southern end of the east wall, basically directly across from the one you came from, and then one kind of halfway up on the east wall, more or less across from where these bodies are. And then again, there's one to the north.
Ricario will start heading down the one that's sort of across from the bodies. See if there's any clues in there or anything.
Northeast,
So that would be the southeast. Yeah.
southeast. Okay.
You want to do that one? So okay, you guys, you got your torch, and you're going to. Do you have some kind of torches or something too, Long? Because you're already.
Yep.
All right, because you're already 4 turns in on their 6-turn torch, so you will need to switch torches soon. So as you're kind of moving in, this is a relatively short corridor. You come into this room that is. It's north to south. It's like maybe 60 feet. You see immediately as you kind of pop in and look around that other passageway on the east wall of the other room would just come into the same room, basically. They're kind of on either side of the room. The wall you're coming in from is flat, but on the opposite wall across from you, which is about 20-ish feet away, is a curved wall. Let's see. Let me give you this. All right, the curved wall of this room it's covered. It basically has a sheet. It's got a thin sheet of ice on it, because it's been, you're in the cold. And there's relief figures on the wall. You can see that, as you're kind of looking at it, that it looks like it's a series of scenes or cutaways of people that look of the type of people that you just saw in that other room, that they're of that race. They seem to be, it's a succession of images of smiths creating a sword. There are a total of 13 reliefs. They start off with, bringing the metal in, and then there's like the forming of the sword and using a forge. They are, forming the sword. There's working the sword thing, and then the very last of the relief, you see that there's somebody holding, the finished sword in the 12th one. And in the 13th one, you see that same person apparently dead with the sword laying across their chest. And as you do, you kind of you notice that on either end of the walls that the reliefs step out of the wall. The very thin, almost they almost seem like they're built into the wall, but they're incredibly thin stone. For lack of a better word, automations step from the wall holding, essentially swords. And they don't surprise you because you're kind of staring at the walls, but they seem to be hostile as they move towards you. They're not very fast. So essentially you've got all these reliefs on the wall, and then 2 of them just stepped out. You can imagine almost like statues coming to life, except they're like very thin. So what do you want to do?
They don't seem to be very fast.
They're not moving tremendously fast. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one other feature in this room. There is a hole in the floor, about 5-foot radius or diameter, I should say, hole in the floor, close to the center of the room. Yeah. Otherwise, the room is empty besides what I just described.
Mm,
Yeah, they're pulling off the wall. I mean, they're kind of like they're coming from either side. So literally, one's right next to you, the other one's next to the other door.
And
uh,
there are more of them, like behind the
Well, there's
ice.
two that came off the wall, but you don't know if the rest of the 13 will come to life or not. I mean, one of them is clearly dead. Well, it's dead in the picture.
Okay.
Ricario is going to quickly head towards that other door.
So towards the other statue, because it's by the
Mm,
door.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you're gonna move towards that one. And how about
John is well, I mean, both of those entrances lead to the same chamber, right? The chamber where they came from.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So instead of taking a risk, he just goes back the way that he came.
Oh, you're gonna go back. Okay, so you're gonna retreat. All right. Well, they're gonna try to move in and attack you. So let's roll initiative. I guess Young. We'll see what happens. They got a 4.
5.
All right, you go first. So you guys move quickly back. Well, you move back down the corridor. The one that was coming off the wall to attack you or attack both of you, um, turns to follow you. Is going to on his turn to follow you down the corridor. It seems, anyways. The one that is by the other door, though, you rush towards and past them, I guess.
Yeah.
Ricario?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, you're fast, and it's not that fast. So I'm going to say that. Let me just make a regular dex check, d20 under your dex, just to see if you can get past him before he gets. Otherwise, he might block.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's kind of right in front of the door.
I rolled a 6. My dex is 13.
Fantastic. Yeah, so it seems like it's stepping out in front of the door, but before it can do it, you just kind of get past it, and you guys both make your way, down those short corridors back into the original room with the bodies. And as you kind of look back over your shoulder, you can see that these two guardians are now kind of standing, blocking the doors. They're not coming towards you; they're just standing, looking at you from the other side. And you're back in the room with the bodies.
Oh, they must be really upset about that sword.
Yes, it's interesting that they're not pursuing us into this room.
Perhaps they are only meant to protect the sword, which seems to already be missing.
Yeah. You didn't see anything in there, did you?
Just a hole in the floor, but I think that might be where the sword's supposed to be displayed.
I don't know. Should we bash him?
Let's not take the chance. Let us continue on. Let's
To the north, then.
Yeah, maybe something way more valuable than a hole in the ground.
Okay. Okay, cool. You head to the north, and this entranceway is like squared off, where all the other ones have been kind of rounded tubes. This one's more kind of squared off. You enter in, and you see in front of you an altar. Appears to be an altar, anyways. Let me see. Yeah, a slab of black stone. Appears to be an altar. Is against the northern wall. On the wall itself, though, is what appears to be I guess a map, for lack of a better word, of the stars. You can see, what as your torchlight flickers across, you can see these like diamonds and various types of stones in the wall, in clusters. They don't. Some of them look like they match stars as you may know them. Some seem a little bit off and weird. But what makes it more like a map is that you can see that there's like etched lines between them, kind of connecting them, and you see some kind of strange writing and stuff. So it appears to be some kind of a map of the stars. And as I say, the stars themselves are shown in diamonds and quartz and stuff like that. So precious stones against the wall. The room itself is about 20 by 20. There doesn't look to be any other way out immediately evident. It's just basically this black stone slab with this above it on the wall. Again, black wall. These, for lack of a better word, stars.
So are these lines? Is it like astrology symbols?
Yeah, it's basically So you see the various, we'll just call them constellations. I mean, you're fourth level and you travel, so you have an idea of what stars. But you see them like, if you imagine sometimes when they draw the constellations, like they have like the 4 or 5 stars and there's like lines drawn to connect to make them look like the thing they're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
It's like
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Also, yeah, that's it.
And there's like all sorts of gems and stuff.
Yeah, the stars themselves are gems, from what you can tell.
Huh.
And they're basically in the wall. Yeah. And then you've
How
got
big are?
I mean, they vary in size from like the size that you might put in like a ring to like something that's like as big as like a nut. There's various different sizes. Also, this black slab that seems kind of like an altar-ish kind of shaped is just a smooth like black marble and just shiny and at least as far as you can tell, it doesn't have anything on it. It's just empty. So you can kind of see the stars reflecting in it as well. These stars meaning the gems.
Oh wow. Seems like we've found ourselves a little treasure trove here.
Yeah, but hold on until we find out a little more about this place. I don't want you to pull these gems out and have the whole place crumble.
Yes. Well, we should. Is there any other? Is there any other doors?
You don't see anything other way out. Just the way you came in. It's basically just this like 20 by 20 room with this kind of like black altar-y thing at one end, and then behind the altar on the wall is this like star map.
Yes.
John walks up to the altar, puts his hand on it.
Oh, your bare hand?
He's got a gauntlet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You put your hand on it.
Nothing happens.
I mean, you don't feel anything because you have a gauntlet on. You can't feel through it. So it did nothing immediately changes in the room when you do that now.
Okay.
It's a sound of metal touching stone.
All right. When we study the star chart, I mean, does it look like there are any gems that are missing?
Go ahead and roll. Here, I'll do it this way. I'll roll it. Yeah, there are. You can see that there are certain areas that, as you're kind of studying it, that you think there should be. Like you're like, well, it kind of looks like this part of the sky, but it's not because it's missing some stars. And as you kind of look at it closer, you see that actually it's missing those gems. So they would make the current constellations if they had if those gems were there.
Yeah. He points that out to Ricario. He says, Ricario, there are some of these gems that are missing over here.
Yes. Well,
you never know. I mean, these
thieves
magical
come and break into these kinds of places.
Have we
and
seen
they
any
just take
bodies?
whatever.
Have we seen any bodies aside from the ones that were arranged in that strange circular fashion?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, let's continue on our way, and we'll keep this in our mind. We should get to the second floor.
When I study the altar, do I see anything else, or is it just completely smooth black marble type of thing?
I'm sorry, I was muted all the time. I said a couple things. All I really said was, no, you haven't encountered any other bodies, just in case you forgot. Yeah, as you're studying the altar, you realize at first it seemed like it was just one solid piece, but as you're kind of looking at it, an area that you thought was just a reflection of the lines drawn, you realize is actually some kind of like a crack that you can then you put some pressure on, you push it, and actually part of the altar lifts up. And you can see that you'd have to climb on the altar to do it, but you see that there's a kind of a passage you could crawl through to go down into it. It looks like there's a tunnel below, maybe like 5 foot tall. And as you kind of shine your torch, you can see down there, you see there's something in the tunnel laying at the bottom. It's kind of a strange, it almost looks like two lenses that are with some leather kind of holding them together in a fashion that I mean, you've seen helmets and you've seen how people pull things down to like protect their face. It kind of almost looks like you could put it over your face.
Brother John picks it up.
You have to go into the tunnel to get it, though. You have to crawl down there.
Yeah, he studies the tunnel to see if there is anything out of ordinary.
Yeah, I mean, you stick the torch. Actually, you're gonna have to light up another torch, but you stick your torch down there and kind of move it back and forth. It's not tall enough for you to walk. I mean, it's like about 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
You have to crawl or whatever to get in there. But it looks like it travels back to the west. Further than you can see with the torchlight. Otherwise, it looks empty. You see this thing on the ground.
Hmm.
You have to kind of like climb up to the top of the altar and kind of shuffle through this hole to get into it.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to keep going, you could follow the tunnel. You could obviously crawl back out again.
He motions to Ricario and says, "Ricario, there's something interesting back here. Take a look."
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, that is interesting.
What is that? It looks like a helmet of some sort.
Here, hand me the torch. I'll light one up for yourself. I'll take this one, and I'll travel down this tunnel small ways and let you know if it's safe. I don't want you to have to crawl with that heavy plate armor of yours if there's no need.
Well, just in case you get hurt, you let me know, right?
Of course.
Okay.
And Ricario will tuck his pole arm under his arm so that he can, kind of keep it close to him and keep it where he can not smack a wall every time he turns. And he's going to head down the tunnel towards that with his torchlight and head towards that thing on the ground.
Yeah, so with some finessing, you're able to kind of like get your pole arm through this hole into the small tunnel and get into there yourself with the torch. This kind of half helm, that could go over the top of your head and then kind of cover your eyes with these lenses is pretty close by. I mean, it's right there. When you're down there, kind of picking it up or examining it before you pick it up, and you look down, you can see that the tunnel goes for like another, maybe like 15 feet. And then there seems to be some kind of a grate at the other end, kind of blocking the way. I mean, you could see through it if you get close enough, but it's like a metal grate. But it looks like it's not a door; it's just kind of a grate, if you will.
Is there any light coming from up ahead?
No.
Okay. Ricario will just place the torch down gently. If he can, he'll kind of stick it in the ground where it'll stay lit.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's stone. You're not going to stick it in the ground, but you can put it down. If you put it down gently, it won't go up.
And he'll take his free hand at that point and go ahead and try and move those lenses over his eyes and get possessed by the demon spirit that's in them.
Okay, yeah, you pull them up over your eyes. They're kind of yellowy, and it's they're very dark. Like when you put them up over your eyes, you can still see because there's a torch down there, but it looks like, barely candlelight. Like it seems to really block out a lot of the light. You would imagine that if you were somewhere that was very bright, these would probably be very useful to not be, affected by, such things.
Okay.
Like looking towards the sun or whatever, it wouldn't hurt you.
Okay, interesting. He'll pull those off of his head then. And he'll, I don't know, kind of tuck them in his belt or something. And then he'll grab his torch and continue down towards that vent.
Okay, sure. You move down towards the vent, and you can see again. It's big enough that you could get through it. A person could, but it's not. You have to stay low. As you kind of peek through as best you can. I mean, you got the torch against it. Some light's going in there. It's opening up into a decent sized room. It looks like this room was probably some kind of a storage room because you can see lots of shelves. There's crates and casks that were likely holding wine and things like that. You can see all that stuff there. There's some hooks hanging from the ceiling where they probably hung meat, that kind of thing. But of course, there's nothing there now. But what you do see, though, kind of barely make out is you can see a body laying on the ground. It looks similar to the body that you saw, to the bodies you've seen already, except this one is not wearing any kind of armor. You can't really see well enough in there to see much about the body, except for that you can tell it's the same kind of person, if you will.
Okay. Uh,
You could push this grate in or pull it off or whatever. Or you can figure out a way to open it. Then you'd be able to see in better. But yeah.
all right, yeah, Ricario kind of like lean back, and he's gonna try and like with his foot like kick the grate off.
Yeah, for sure. You kick the grate, it noisily falls on the ground. You're about 5 feet off the ground. It noisily hits the ground in the room. Ding, 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 ding. The body on the ground doesn't move.
You doing all right down there?
Yes, I found a grate that comes out into a room. Why don't you come on down? And with that, Ricario will go
Jump
ahead
closer.
and he'll climb out of that tunnel into this new room.
Cool. Yeah. So you jump down into the room as you hear the clerk kind of clambering behind you. It'll take you around or so to catch up. And yeah, pretty much, even though you can see now more in the room, all you're seeing is more of what I already described. There is a passageway to the south to leave, basically. It has a door, unlike other places you've seen so far. It has like a big wooden door on it, which is closed. You also see this body. Again, it's a similar creature, although not in armor or armed. In this creature, you do notice that the skin though has more of like a bluish tone to it. The other creatures are very gray looking. This one you can see the hand and the face. You can see this like it's more blue looking. Also roll a d8.
All right. 8 acid slimes come out to hit. No, 3.
3. No, great. No, roll again. Sorry, you can't do 3. You already found the 3.
5.
5. Okay. Okay. You can see kind of scattered around the room. There's also some, rolled up parchments. They're like laying scattered around the room. There are 3 rolled up parchments.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Ricario, while he's hearing the cleric coming down, he's going to go ahead and head over towards, like, is it naked, the body?
No, it's dressed in clothing. I mean, it's a different style than you're used to. Definitely fashion wise, but it has like normal clothing on. It's just not in armor.
All right. He's going to like set the torch down, set it down, hopefully not in a puddle or anything. And then he's going to approach the body, and with his free hand, he's going to start patting it down to see if he can find anything on it useful.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you start to pat it down. You can, as soon as you hit it the first time, like you're feeling around, all of a sudden, a kind of a blue cloud erupts around you, and you're coughing a little bit. And you immediately, like, just out of reaction, start to look at your hands, and you can see that your hands are starting to turn blue, and like this like mossy stuff is growing like out of your fingernails and stuff. Make a saving throw versus poison.
Great. I love saving throws, especially versus poison. 17. Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't keel over and die immediately. But you are seeing this blue stuff start to grow from like under your fingernails and stuff. Probably just about the same time the cleric steps into the room.
Yeah,
What's going on, Ricario? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Yeah, you definitely see, yeah, probably just from the point of view of the cleric, like you're probably like freaking out, but like when you turn towards the cleric, you can actually see on Ricario's face, like his eyes, you can actually see like fungus starting to like pour out of the sides, almost like he's crying. You can see this blue stuff just dripping down his face.
Well, I'm dead.
By the light of Voltus. He steps back.
That's a real cleric. Screw that motherfucker. Okay. Make another save, Crystal.
17 again.
Nice.
What are the odds?
Okay. Yeah, you're fighting it off. What do you want to do?
Yeah, fighting it off is more like Ricario going, oh, he's like just like flinging his hands around, like just like trying to knock the stuff off of his face.
Yeah.
The cleric takes off that cloak that he was wearing earlier, and he rolls it into like a thinner, um, you know, he rolls it into a large, I don't know, like a little rolled up blanket type of thing, and goes up to Ricario and tries to brush it off, like holding one side of the blanket, but he's like basically whacking him with it. Hold still, Ricario. I'm gonna dust it off of your body. He says.
Nice. All right. Yeah. So you start to hit Ricario with it. So the blue stuff just like shoots everywhere. Make a saving throw versus poison.
Shit. Oh no. 9. Is that a save? Hold on.
Probably not going to
Well.
succeed. Not at your level.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Yeah. You knock it off and you start coughing, and then you can actually you cough into your hand, and you see that you just spit up all this blue stuff, and you can actually see Ricario's now, like your eyes, Ricario, are like completely blue, and you're actually seeing fringes of blue in your eye from this thing. Go ahead and make another save.
10. I'm dead.
Okay. So you start coughing, you fall to your knees uncontrollably. Go ahead and roll 2d6. Poison chart. How many times will Crystal die in this adventure?
Yeah. 3, 1, 4 total.
Well, that's not bad. Okay. So yeah, basically you are you're basically puking. You will eventually recover, but you're puking. Go ahead and roll 2d6, Young.
Oh my God, 11. I
Oh
wonder what
my
that
God.
is.
Roll a d6.
2.
You're blind.
Oh no.
Hold on.
What?
How long? Roll a d6.
3.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. Okay, you're blind. All right, so basically you're blind for 3 turns, and Ricario is retching uncontrollably, unable to do anything for 3 turns. So let me now take this opportunity to roll a wandering monster check.
Perfect.
Okay, because this could be the end. Although you'll probably kill the monster too if it gets this stuff in it, but that's not going to make you feel any better. All right, where's my wandering monsters? Let's see if you can survive long enough. With the wandering monster chart. Actually, let's see. I'll let you guys roll it. Who wants to roll the wandering monster? Roll a d12, somebody.
Let me
So
add
you
it.
want to do it?
Yeah, let me add it.
Let's see what comes.
It rolled away from me. I think that's a 4.
Oh.
You think, or is it 4?
I think it's a 4. I don't. It fell off of my desk and rolled away from me. I'm too
Well,
lazy
Crystal, it's our fate here. You want me to roll and get a definite roll?
Here, I'll roll another one.
Okay.
8.
8. Okay. But your torches are sputtering out. You're puking.
As a beholder.
Well, you can't see it because you're
who
blind.
flies through the door.
Yeah. And as the last of your torches starting to sputter out, you've now thrown up everything you possibly can, Ricario. And you look up, and the cleric is praying to your god. And as you notice that through the blue haze, Father John, that you're starting to be able to see again. And after a little bit, when you light up another torch or whatever as it goes out, you are actually okay. You did not get an encounter.
Oh wow!
So you are in this room. There's lots of puke on the ground. There's a body covered in this blue stuff that you probably don't want to touch anymore. There's some parchment, and there's lots of what looks to be food storage that's probably quite old. And there's a door to the south.
Well, let's continue through that door, shall we?
Brother John, could he see now, or?
You can see now. Yep.
Okay, yeah. He
It was
finally.
only 3 turns actually, so that works over there.
Oh wow, that was scary.
Yeah, it could have been permanent.
Yep. Yeah. He rises up from the ground after a fervent prayer to Foltus, I guess, and he says, "By the light of Foltus, I am cured of this affliction." And he offers a quick prayer and looks around and discovers those parchments and says, "Oh, perhaps these are the mysteries that I was meant to find." And quickly goes over there and picks up those parchments.
Okay. Roll.
And then more of that blue stuff.
All right, what do I roll?
No, I rolled first. Okay, so you can tell. I mean, just because you're a cleric, that you can tell right away that these are scrolls. Unfortunately, they are not clerical scrolls. They
Okay.
seem to be magic scrolls.
Okay.
So you've got these 3 magic scrolls, which probably have some value, but for you guys, you won't be able to utilize them.
Yeah. I'll hang on to these scrolls, and if you want to sell them later or something, then I suppose we could do that.
Yeah, we'll see. By the way, that other D12 was a 4.
Okay, well, it's a good thing we went with the 8. Let's just say that.
Phew.
Hold on. 2, 3, 4. Actually, it was. I'm sorry. You weren't. That was 11 turns. There was like almost 2. Actually, your torches would have completely went out by the time you were not blind anymore. It was dark, but whatever. It doesn't work out.
Okay.
So you guys spent almost 2 hours in the dark, puking and being blind.
All right, so
At this point, you're
head
fine.
through the southern door now.
Yeah. I mean, you can open up the door, no problem. It opens up into a room that's about 30 by 30, kind of similar to the room that you're in. To the south, there's another door. And this room is again like the room you're in. It's basically looks like some kind of a storage room. It's got shelves and various things, some casks. It look like they probably had something in them at one point. What you do see that might be unusual is some of the stuff in one corner. Some of the shelves are knocked over, and the wall that's made of stone has big gashes and scrapes in it. Almost has something like something very powerful, clearly, because it's stone scratched the wall. And you can see that there's large scales. The scales are probably the size of like a dinner plate. They are more or less clear. Like you wouldn't even see them if they weren't at certain angles. So they almost look like clear glass plates in a sense. But when you get closer to them, you can tell they're very clearly scales. There's 9 of them here.
So like scales of some kind of an animal?
Yeah, some kind of a creature that would have scales, like a reptile or whatever. Very large, clearly, but they're clear, like almost like glass. And if you were to investigate them, they're incredibly tough. Like if you took your sword or your dagger and tried to like smash into it, like it would just like doesn't even chip it. Like they're very strong.
Ricario, these look quite valuable. I've never seen anything like these before.
Yeah, but
Are they really heavy?
No, not particularly. I mean, they're heavy, but they're not so heavy that you're.
But they're pretty large, right?
They're the size of a plate. So imagine carrying 9 dinner plates. I mean, that's heavy, but it's not like impossible to carry.
Okay.
So I would say they probably weigh a total of like maybe 10 pounds.
if these are like glass, that makes me worry about the creature they came from. Is the creature itself difficult to see?
Well, I don't know what kind of creature these came from, but it sure. I can be certain that it's not something that's commonplace.
Yeah, so well, let's keep our eyes peeled. I mean, if the scales are like, you say they're like glass, so they're like transparent, is what you're saying, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So if the scales are able to be seen through, then I'm supposing that's probably a defensive thing to make it harder to see.
Yeah. Well, Brother John, he picks up the scales and puts them into his pack and carries them.
Yeah, you definitely do that. Yeah, I mean they're clear, but I mean you can see them. I mean they're not invisible, because they're scales. They're not like a pane of glass. You know what I'm saying? Because they have texture to them. So when light hits it, you can see them. So
So
you can definitely pick them up. Yeah.
he holds one scale and takes out his ration and puts it on top of it and says, "Here, Ricario, you look as half as thin as you were coming in. You want some stuff to eat?"
Hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
Ricario.
he looks at the room back there and just motions it with his chin.
Yeah, yeah, Ricario will go ahead and wolf down a quick something to eat, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long would it take to do that.
Yeah, it's a turn to like set down. You have to rest it. You have to rest one turn every hour anyway, as well, so you can't.
All right, yeah. So
So that's fine.
we'll,
You can.
we'll do that. We'll take a minute to rest and go
I
grab
mean, you're
some
basically in a
food.
room where there's doors on both sides of you. So I mean, if you close both doors, you're probably in a pretty safe place.
So
There's something coming.
there's a door to the north, which is where we came from, right? And there's one to the south.
Yep.
Okay.
That door to the south, can I put like my pole arm across it to make it to where it wouldn't open, like across the handles or something?
Yeah. Sure.
Cool.
Okay, he'll do that, and then we'll rest and eat and stuff.
Cool.
Cool. Nice. So,
And then,
Ricario, tell me, what brings you here? I know that you are interested in exploring this place, but I don't know why. Just riches?
oh yeah, adventuring. Yeah, it's my passion.
Well, you know me. It is said that there is a cataclysm that's supposed to end the world in about 50 years. And the mystery to stop it lies in this place.
Well,
So my church, the Church of Foltus, sent me here to investigate and discover the secret behind it.
interesting. Well, yes, I suppose every once in a while there must be a end of the world, eh?
Sure enough. But if you see anything that could help us prevent the end of the world, let me know.
Yes. Well, if you see some rope which seems to be able to repair itself, let me know.
Rope? What
Mm-hmm.
kind of rope?
A rope.
Like a
Rope.
mundane looking rope?
It's a rope.
Hmm.
That's all I know. Rope that is supposedly able to repair itself.
That's strange. Well, let's continue on if you're full. And he hands him the water skin.
Yeah, he'll he'll like rinse out his mouth and kind of like spit the water out and then drink a little bit, and then he'll tie the water skin to his belt and take his pole arm and continue on.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are kind of packing up a little bit, and you actually think that you hear, during maybe some quiet moments, you hear some movement at that southern door. Not that anybody tries to come through per se, but you think you hear some like scurrying or something out there, and maybe you tense up for a second, you're quiet, and then it kind of goes away. So nothing kind of disturbs you. But yeah, so once you're done, you can get your stuff, and if you maybe very cautiously open the door because you heard those sounds, you look out and it's there's nothing there. I mean, it's just a corridor heading to the south, which goes about 20 or so feet, and that brings you back into the room with the stairs going up. So you kind of
Hey, I have a quick question. I haven't brought it up till now, but before we run in any locked doors, I'd actually bought I had in my list that I had two thieves tools because I know for a thief it's always lucky to have those. Is there any way that I possibly had one of those thieves tools on my horse?
well, I mean, I guess that would make sense, right?
All right, awesome. I'm gonna mark down that I have thieves tools then.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I would assume you'd have your backup.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So yes, you can have those with you now because you picked up whatever you wanted from your horse.
Right.
So you're essentially back in the room with the stairs. So if you remember, there's stairs going up, spiral staircase into the ceiling. If you were to go south now, you're going back to that tunnel where you encountered that ooze early on. And your horses are down there. To the east would be the room with the collapsed stuff and the bodies.
All right, we're back in what room?
The room with the staircase going up.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. All right.
So
Well,
should we continue on and explore what's up there? I mean, the staircase actually goes up, right?
Yep. Goes up through in and through the ceiling, basically.
Okay.
yeah, let's continue. We know where some valuable stuff is, and if we need to, we can come back for that later. But let's continue on for now.
Cool.
And so Ricario will start going with brother Young's character.
Brother John, my friend.
He'll start heading up with Brother John.
So each of you roll a d6 and let me know the number.
D6. I got
1.
3.
You got 1? Okay, and then you got 3?
I got a 1.
Yes, sir.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, cool. So you come up the stairs into kind of a large round room. Well, one thing that it has pretty tall ceilings. What you immediately notice is that part of the ceiling here, the side part of the ceiling, has been collapsed in. The other immediate thing that you notice is that there are lots meaning somewhere about a dozen bodies of animals that are kind of pushed to one side of the room and kind of covered in a small layer of snow and ice. Let me see what else you see immediately inside this room. Keep losing the room for some reason. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so as described, it looks like this was probably a library at one point. You see lots of books scattered everywhere, though most of them are trash now. Some of them look like they were burnt. Like I said, you see lots of animals kind of in the corner. Elk, polar bear. You do see actually a couple of kind of humanoids, and one of them is of that race that you've seen now twice already. And you see a halfling as well. They're frozen dead, though. They're clearly, I mean, as clear as you can tell, they're dead. They're basically like torn with like big gashes across them and thrown into a pile with the rest of the meat. The other thing that you see sitting right by the creature that looks like the ones you've seen so far, at kind of near it on the ground, is a sword. It is a normal sword. It is the blade looks like it's kind of a bluish black looking. The handle is studded with gems.
Does it look like that sword from the poster earlier?
It looks like the sword from the posters. Yeah, that's true. You saw that earlier. It doesn't exactly look like that.
Look at that.
Brother says, that seems to match what we saw earlier. But look out. Look at these torn animals. There is something here that's eating them or slashing them until they're dead. Is there a staircase leading even higher up, or
there
are
is
we
a
at
staircase leading here even higher up? Sorry,
Okay.
There is.
He says, how about we examine what's up there before we run into whatever is roaming in this place?
Okay, on this second floor though, is there anywhere else we can go, or is it this just like one room?
It's a giant library. As you kind of walk around, and I gave you kind of the scope of it. It would have taken you a few minutes to kind of walk around and see all that I just said. You can search it more deeply, of course, if you want. But yeah, there's some windows and stuff that are shuttered closed, but there's no like other doors or anything. It's like literally one large room. And then there's to get upstairs, it's not this continuation of the spiral staircase. It's basically like kind of a thin set of stairs, almost like a ladder. They're so steep against one far wall, and it's like a trap door in the ceiling to go up.
Okay, I got you.
Then of course you could go out through the ceiling if you could fly, because there's a hole in the ceiling.
Okay.
So it's
So are
basically
all
that
those-
structure that we were looking at in the picture, right?
That's right. If you look at the picture, you're literally in the part. You see where the hole is?
Yeah.
You're basically right below that because you're kind of in that round part below it. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
You would imagine that the stairs I'm talking about go up into this top part there. That's like the more of a hat of it, if you will.
All right. And those bodies with the slashes and everything in them,
Yep.
like they're all in kind of like one corner.
Yep. They're like piled. And then you notice that there's like chunks of snow and ice like with them, almost like deliberately put there, because there wouldn't be snow or ice with them.
Okay. All right. Ricario wants to. Ricario is gonna look around using the flame. He's gonna like look up towards the ceiling and stuff, and if he doesn't see anything, like he kind of wants to look a little bit carefully. If he doesn't see anything, he's tempted to go towards that sword.
Yeah, I mean, if you look around, I mean, pretty thoroughly, like at the ceiling and whenever watching through the hole, whatever, nothing seems to be visually out of place. Roll d6, I guess, just because, for no particular reason.
5.
You see remnants of where possibly another one of those like things that attacked you when you first came in may have fed, because you see some dissolved like stuff, like dissolved like books and other things, and then next to it you see this kind of like pool of kind of liquid that looks like kind of what it looked like once it was destroyed. But other than that, you don't see any kind of creature.
Okay. Yeah, Ricario is gonna quickly head over to that sword.
Okay.
And he's gonna grab it.
Nice. What's your alignment?
Neutral.
Oh, fun. Okay. You grab the sword. Let's see. Let me see what happens. I believe you will take a d6 of damage. You take 6 points of damage.
Wow. Ow.
Yeah. What do you have, like 7 hit points?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The sword, I mean, you don't have to drop it if you don't want to, but you take 6 points of damage, and the sword immediately speaks out loud, but in a language that you do not under. What's your alignment, Brother John? Is he still here? John, what's your alignment? It doesn't matter. Anyways, it speaks in a language that you don't know. He wouldn't know it either. Anyways. And it seems to be saying something to you in a very kind of dominant voice, like it's telling you something, like it's commanding you, but you don't know what it's saying because it's speaking a language you don't know. It's like like that. Very loud. And it's going to attempt to control you.
Great.
Let's see. Okay, so to determine the wielder's will score, so you have to sum your strength and wisdom. So
I have to tell you my strength and wisdom.
yeah, strength plus wisdom.
Okay. That's a total of 19.
Cool. And then you are less than half your full hit points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so subtract from that 4, so 15. Now I have to look at the sword's will score. Where are you, sword? I have too many pages open. This rapid try open too many pages at once. The swords. Oh yeah, no, it definitely. And it does. I didn't even calculate it in because you're not the same alignment. Yeah, you understand as the sword takes control of you that you are on a mission to collect the star charts that are somewhere here. That was the mission of the party that was sent here, the Vinteralf party, and that's what they were doing when they were attacked, or whatever, when the sword was lost. So basically, the sword wants you to continue. Since you don't speak its language, it can't really communicate more than that. You just understand that's what you need. It's going to make you just do it. Basically, you're basically playing the sword now. That's what the sword wants.
Okay. Yep. Ricario will drop the pole arm, and he shoulders the sword and begins to walk bravely back towards the star chart room.
Yeah. So your sword, the sword, by the way, can 3 times per day each detect traps, secret doors, and see invisibility. No, actually, you always see invisible objects. So just make a note of that. Also, you can fly 3 times per day. So yeah.
And fly?
Yeah, you can also fly 3 times per day.
I can fly 3 times per day.
Yeah. So, well, that's what the sword can do it. So you can use its power. So basically, fly for up to 3 turns, 3 times per day. You can detect invisible objects always within 20 feet of you, and 3 times per day each, you can detect traps or secret doors. You just have to say when you want to do that. That's within 10 feet.
All right. So I see invisible objects always, as long as I'm wielding the sword.
Yep. Yeah, as long as you're holding, you have to have the sword in your hand, clearly.
All right, and then I can fly 3 times a day.
Yep.
For 3 turns.
Yep, 3 turns each.
And detect traps and hidden doors. Is that right?
Yep. Secret doors or traps within 10 feet. But that's 3 times a day, though. So
Okay.
you got to just say you're going to use it.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
John says, "Hey, Ricario, that's a very nice looking sword. You feeling all right?"
Ricario continues to walk.
I mean, you can communicate, with them, whatever, The sword.
We must find the star charts. Nothing else is of greater importance than that.
Well, that is why I'm here as well. So let's go and find it.
Well, we saw that room with the gems. The star charts. Those are the star charts. Those must be correct.
No. They're something that you can take with you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yes, they are, but you're looking for portable star charts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the sword.
All right. Well, they must be in this library henceforth.
Well, let's look around then. John looks around and rummages through these books, I guess. Could we search in the room for a little while?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
They take their time.
Yeah. You can search in the room. Anything special you want to do?
Can I make a special kind of search, or?
Yeah, you can do anything you want. Play it just like you're the character. Just know that's your motivation. I mean, the sword's only gonna.
No, I'm saying, like, can I do a roll for a search or whatever?
Yeah, if you want to.
Oh, so what, a D6?
Yeah, roll a D6.
Okay. I rolled a 5.
Nice. Let's see. Oh, actually, you know what? Don't roll a D6. Roll a.
Death.
2, 3. Roll a D4.
Okay. 1.
1.
I got a 4.
4. Okay, fantastic. Wow, that is absolutely perfect. So you're digging through the stuff to find, and as Ricario holding the magic sword opens up a kind of a cabinet. There's some long parchments that are rolled, and you kind of roll them out, and you can see these are definitely the star charts that you're looking for. And just as you're pulling them down, you hear the flapping sound, and what the priest notices and finds as he looks up, coming through the hole, is a beast, long, 15 feet long, thin, long legs, long neck, nearly transparent in the bright light. as it flies in and says, "Who disturbs my larder?" And let's take a break before you fight the dragon.
Okay.
Let's do 5 minutes.
Oh man.
That could not have been a better timing, actually.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Let me see.
I'm still here. I never left.
Oh, all right. Well, let's fight a dragon. I mean, I'm assuming you want to fight the dragon. The dragon definitely wants to fight you.
Let's see. See how it goes. Who's rolling initiative?
All right. Yes, so this dragon is coming into the area. So yeah, it's about to throw down. So yeah, let's roll initiative. Who wants to do it?
I will.
All right, let's do it. Dragon roll
4.
4. You go first. Okay, it's currently still kind of in the hole, so it's a bit of a distance away from you. And it's there poised, it's got its slender arms holding, each side of the entrance. It's sticking its long neck in there, and it calls out to you. And you guys get to go first. So who?
Ricario pushes those star charts back in, and he takes the sword and he swings it thusly through the air.
Who
He
has
calls
the star
out,
chart? I mean, Ricario, you're keeping the star chart as you fight the dragon.
No. He pushes it back onto the shelf,
Okay.
and he swings the sword through the air, saying, "I am Apocalypse, defiler of the Forsaken. You killed my previous master. Now prepare to die!" And he charges the dragon.
Epic.
Okay, I mean, you definitely can charge the dragon. It's not going to be able to attack it this round because you're too far away. It's up in the air, but you certainly can charge towards it if you'd like. Actually, though, the sword's name?
Apocalypse, defiler of the Forsaken. I just named it.
No, it has a name. The sword's name is actually Grugnir. So there you go.
And that translates to Apocalypse, defiler of the Forsaken.
Okay.
Brother John, he yells at you. It's like, I'm gonna secure the star chart while you fight the dragon.
Well, I mean, you're not near each other. But so you're going to run back towards where so basically the thief is now charging the dragon. I mean, the sword doesn't make you stupid. You realize
you said to play it out how I see fit. The sword's taken over me, so
yeah,
it's giving me a warrior spirit.
And as Brother John, approaches that star chart, he yells to you, "Lead the dragon towards that water, the hot water."
Yeah, the dragon's like, I can hear you. All right, so you run back towards the star chart. You charge the dragon like an idiot, and all right, well, the dragon's not stupid. It blows its breath at you. So,
Right.
Or
Yeah.
they wait.
No, there's no wait. You ran.
Okay,
You made your decision. You did what you're going to do. I gave you the time to do it. That's how you want to play
That's
it.
fine. Yeah.
All right, so there you go.
I mean,
you're not together, so it's only going to attack the crazy thief. So it's actually breathes fire, strangely enough. And you'll make a save versus breath weapon.
Okay. Too bad I can't deflect fire 3 times a day.
You can't, not with this weapon.
Okay.
That would be awesome, but no.
4. I did not save versus
You're
breath
taking
weapon.
27 points of damage.
I'm still alive.
Probably gonna kill you. Okay, so let's see. Roll a d6 plus the amount that you're negative. So you're negative 26, I guess.
26, yeah.
Okay.
I rolled a 4, so it's a negative 30.
Okay, perfect. So instant death. You are a smoldering pile of ashes. So there you go. Now you're dead.
Yeah.
My tea's boiling. Hold on.
Nice.
Muted.
Yeah, I'm here. He went to go grab his tea.
Okay.
Yeah, so he rushes forward, prepare to die, and just and then the sword falls to the ground.
Yeah, but that was pretty epic.
One shot. I decided, it's either gonna be super epic boss fight or I'm gonna die in a hilarious fashion, and it works out either way.
Okay.
I put the
all right.
largest bet on dying in a hilarious fashion, just to let you know.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to come back from that. So yeah, you go down. You run to the cabinet and grab the star charts, and you see your friend get toasted. So you're probably like you're on the other side of the room at this point, 60 or so feet away from the dragon. So go ahead. What do you want to do this round? Now that you have star charts in your hand,
He's gonna grab the start chart and go down the stairs.
so you're going to run back towards the stairs, which are in the center.
I mean, are there any other exit out of there,
Oh,
or
no. Well, you can go up,
okay?
but if you
Um,
that's the closest exit. I'm just saying you're going to run back towards the stairs and go down. So you're going to run towards the dragon.
No, hell no, no. Yeah, so he's
Jump
gonna.
out a window.
I mean, are there any cover or like bookshelves or?
Yeah, you can get behind
something?
bookshelves.
Okay. Yeah, he's basically gonna look for a bookshelf to hide behind, and then he's gonna try to make his way towards either one of the entrances. I mean, what are the exits right now? There's one
Well,
leading up.
this way, if you look at the picture, right? Imagine just for simplicity's sake that you're on the side opposite the hole,
Okay.
right? So the center is where the stairs are, dead center.
Okay.
The way up is actually kind of on the wall. It's somewhere in the middle too. So you get either way to get towards the stairs. You're going to have to go towards where the dragon is currently.
Okay.
You could stay where you are and die behind bookcases for sure.
How large is the well, darn it. Yeah, he's gonna actually go up to the ceiling.
You're going to try to creep over to the other staircase.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you a chance to do that. We'll give you all right. So you're moving as stealthily as you possibly can in plate mail armor, chunking along. You hear the dragon drop into the room. I mean, it's not a huge dragon, and you can hear you hear the sound of it hit the ground, and it says, "Come out, and I'll kill you quickly. In fact, I'll kill you even quicker if you remove that hard shell. I hate to have to do that myself." And it kind of starts. You can hear it crawling towards you across the floor. You hear it breathing, seeking you out, and it's moving towards you. The dragon itself is not. I mean, you're super slow, but also it doesn't know exactly where you are, so it's trying to find you currently. Roll initiative for the next round.
5.
All right, you're gonna go first. So it hasn't got to you yet, but it's coming towards you still.
Okay. He's gonna take off the backpack with the what's it called, the scales,
Right.
and then he's gonna toss it, across as hard as he can, in the opposite direction. Not in a area that he could see the dragon, but behind one of those bookcases, so that he wouldn't know, where it's coming from. I mean, he's probably behind one of the bookcases, and it's probably not obvious, because if he's out in the open, then he's gonna breathe fire and just kill him outright. So he tosses it to the opposite direction that he's traveling.
Okay, so you're trying to I'm gonna throw this way so the dragon won't think I went that way. Then you're gonna creep the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's gonna continue. All right, so let me roll to see if it can figure out where you are. Yeah. No. You do it, and literally as you're throwing it, it's coming around the corner behind you.
Oh shit.
And it sees you, and it says, "Peel yourself from the armor, or you'll die slowly." And it kind of eyeballs you, and you can smell its sulfurous breath. It's probably 15, 20 feet away from you.
Okay. How far away is that exit?
The stairs going up?
Yeah.
Stairs going up are 20 feet away. The stairs going down are about where you are now, about 40 feet.
Okay.
You're
He's
moving
gonna-
late mail, just so you know.
He's gonna go.
You're in plate, right? And you just dropped your stuff, so you're not carrying treasure. So you can move 20.
Okay. If he runs, I mean, after dropping his shield and everything else except for the star chart, how far would he be able to travel?
40.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna drop everything, just to grab just the start chart, and dive into that stairwell.
The one going down.
Yeah.
So you're not going to climb. You're just going to dive through the hole.
Yeah.
All right. Roll a d20 +4 and try to get under your decks.
Okay. I rolled natural 1.
Epic. So basically, you dive like the most perfect dive through like in your plate mail armor. Somehow, you end up like diving directly through the stairs as the dragon moves towards you. On your feet, on your heels. It doesn't blow fire at you though; it just chases you. It's going to chase you. I mean, it's just as fast as you are. So you dive down the stairs. You're going to take a d6 damage because you just dove downstairs. So 1 point.
Okay.
That was a very nice move. You roll down the stairs in plate mail, somehow only taking 1 point of damage, and you're in that first room, and you can actually hear the dragon, who is very narrow, and you can see it kind of it's squeezing, but it can get through that staircase. It's actually coming after you.
Okay.
So, but it's slowed down now. So, you want to do?
He.
Oh, hold on, that was 2. Okay.
Okay. On that room,
You're in the room with the stairs. So basically, you are currently in a room on the ground. There is a passageway to the north, which is blocked by a door. That was where the storerooms were.
Mm-hmm.
To the south is the cave that you came in originally and fought the ooze. And to the east is the tunnel that leads to the collapsed room with the 8 bodies.
Okay. And there's no staircase leading down, yeah?
No, you're basically as low as you can go.
Okay. He's gonna run into the room with 8 bodies.
Okay. So you're going that. So let me just check the speed of the dragon, because it's chasing you, so that is going to become relevant. Dragon speed. Oh yeah, no, it's way faster than you are. Okay, so it's slowed down because it's going downstairs. But yeah, by the time you get into the room, you bust in that room with the collapsed floor into the bodies, and as you do, the dragon's right behind you. So
how large is the dragon? It's able to travel through these narrow,
long, but it's very, very skinny.
Oh, okay.
It's almost like a snake.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's 15 paces in length with powerful wings. It's slender enough to weasel her way through the corridors. So it's skinny.
Okay.
So yes, the dragon is facing you in that room, and she doesn't look very happy. She says to you, "Oh, I don't like to have to work so hard for my food." Roll initiative. It's coming at you now, and you are now weaponless, standing in a room.
6. Crazy.
It also rolled a 6. All right, roll again. We're about to get eaten, I think. 5.
Oh no, 1.
All right. It doesn't. I think it can only breathe fire 1 time. I feel like I read that, but it doesn't say that though. Here, I don't know where I read that. So maybe it can do it again. So in BX, you're supposed to roll to see if it breathes fire or not. I think there's a 1 in 3 chance. Because it can only do it so many times per day. It does. All right, so it looks at you, and it breathes a cone of fire at you.
Holy.
Go ahead and make a save.
Oh shoot! Natural 1.
Okay, so you take 27 points of damage.
It's crispy.
What does that make you? How many hit points have you got?
I had 15 points of hit points.
All right, so you were down to 14. So you're 13. Oh yeah, you're definitely So you're at least negative 12, which you are a smoldering pile of ashes.
Awesome.
The dragon fries you, and then as your armor collapses to the ground, it kind of looks around, sniffs, and it sees, just as it's looking, it looks over, and you can just see those 8 bodies that were on the ground starting to kind of defrost and move a little bit. And one of them says, Captain, I think we can continue the mission now that we've rested. And then the dragon licks its lips and gets some more lunch. So there you go, guys. Not only did you die, you basically brought the death to the guys in the other room. Well done.
Oh
Thanks,
man.
guys. All right, we'll stop the live stream. Thanks.